Hello and welcome to another episode of Honest to a Malt with myself, Duncan Donuts, freshly back from Summerton Whisky Festival this time, and Mike, who couldn't be bothered to go, also known as Two Quid's. He's too lazy. He's too important. He's got better things to do. How you doing, Mike?
Yeah, no, I mean, thanks for the concern. I had a really bad day with the back. I could barely move, so I was in bed all day. But thank you for taking a piss. It's fine.
That's all right. It's fine.
Nah, that's a bollocks. I was in work, sadly. Couldn't make it.
Yeah, fair enough. We had a good time.
How was it?
All the people went, yeah, we had a great time. Banger. But before we get into that kind of stuff, what's the episode called today?
We are episode 56. Can you believe that?
Not really. We're chugging through them, aren't we?
I know. Yeah. So episode 56, and it's called Glory Days. Dun, 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 dun. I've actually, for once, got the American flag in the background. Actually links into what I'm saying and doing.
Such a Springsteen fan, aren't you?
And Jersey. Got the plate up there. In fact, hell, why haven't we done more Springsteen tracks? Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Got it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so what we're going to be talking about today, usual, plus recap on Summerton Whisky Festival, and we're going to be discussing kind of old versus new. Like, were things better in the past, whiskey included, or is it better now? And we just have kind of rose-tinted glasses when we look back at what we tried, whether it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, or for some of us, 20 plus years ago, depending on how long you've been enjoying the enjoying your jams for.
I reckon it'd be good for each of us to take like a side, so you can try and sell the past as the best. And I will say why now.
You have to, because you've only been drinking whiskey for about 6 months. So you've got no choice, have you?
Oh,
sorry, 6 years.
Because you were drinking Bells in uni. Well done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was, and Jack Daniels, and Aberlour, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Yeah, because I was cool, Mike.
Daliwan.
Or Dow Ewan will get told off. I think I also got told off by somebody for not being able to say Sauterne right. But sometimes now we prefer to just say it wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Sauterne.
Sauternes.
Sauterne.
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 Sauterne. That's just for you guys. So
Calder Oak.
Also we've got in front of us the remaining three, the slowest ever blind drams in the history of whiskey. We started these.
That's a world record.
We started these in like January, is it? So it's now May. So. We did one per episode for, I don't know, a few episodes.
3 weeks.
3 weeks. And then we had a wee pause. So we've had a rummage around in the cupboard. For a while...
We took a Sean-style hiatus from doing Paul's Dram.
I'd lost number
6 months off.
I had to find it. I found it. So this is Paul Whiskey Toasts.
Yeah.
Paul Main Whiskey Toasts. So congratulations to Ardnahoe.
Yes.
So
Hunter Lang, finally, the whiskey is out there.
First release, 5-year-old. Congratulations. Yeah. It was at Summerton, so people got to try it.
Did you have a dram?
I think it was evening session, so I missed it. So I still haven't tried it, being honest.
Okay.
I was in the midday session, and you have a bottle, right?
Unopened still. Not that I'm saving it for any reason, because you can still buy it. It's not like it's going to be thing. It's getting opened at some point.
Yeah, of course it is. Well, yeah. I'm sure I'll try a dram of yours. Otherwise, maybe I'll get a bottle, etc. But anyway, congratulations to Hunter Lang and Ardnahoe. So, Paul, I think that reminded us that we should be trying the remaining 3 blind drams. So what we've done is we've remembered what we guessed before, and we've tried the remaining 3 prior to today. So we'll recap those on the pod today. So, Mike, what's been in your glass and what's been up your ass for the last few days?
What's been in my glass is not a massive amount of whiskey, if I'm honest. It has been very busy in my real life, but then last night I had my first fire of the summer season, as I'm calling it. Proper, like, big old fire. I got some old ex-whiskey barrels broken up, made a fire with that, sort of just like chilled out on the decking, and polished off a significant amount of my Glen Scotia White Port.
Yeah, I saw the pictures.
Oh, man. I was just like, if I didn't have to get up at 6:30 for Isla, I probably would have got like through that bottle and slept on the decking outside. It was just like such a lovely evening. Yeah. Great dram, embers from the barbecue, from the fire. Oh,
sometimes it's really nice just to sit with one bottle rather than keep going to the cupboard and getting something different out, right?
And I found
just enjoy
white
that whiskey.
White wine to start. Cleared the palate, cleared all dinner away. Had a little like fresh glass of white wine, and then dived into some
straight to the White Port
Scotia.
White Port Scotia. Lovely.
Yes. So that's been in my glass. I've had What have I had? I've had a few drams of 80 Rat Rays, the Aldair, is it? I want to say.
Yeah.
I opened it, had a couple of drams, haven't touched it, and then was just literally, I went digging in the back of the cupboard for something to drink and pulled out this bottle. And yeah, it was delightful. And obviously, I've had one or two of the older Spanish oaks, Duncan.
Have you? Oh, my days, Mike. Keep me a bottle. Don't do that to me. Mm-hmm. Is it still as unbelievably quaffable as it was?
Yeah.
It's dangerous, that stuff, right?
Dangerous. I still can't believe the price. It's just outstanding.
£45, right?
Yeah.
Should be 60 quid.
So, yeah, very easy week for me. Nice and chilled.
Nothing been up your ass at all?
So, I briefly touched on it as we were sort of setting up for the pod today. What's been up my arse is me. And I don't know if it's age.
I'm glad you finally realised.
Yeah, I don't know if it's age. I don't know if it's the medication for the back. I don't know what it is, but like I now find myself, I'd say for a good 1/3 of the day, standing in rooms in my house, not knowing why the frig I'm there. Got no idea what I've walked into a room for. I go in the kitchen, open a cupboard. I'm like, I got no idea what I'm doing here for.
Do you ever that thing where I think what happens to all of us, but we go into a room with an intention of one thing we were looking for. You then see something else and you go, oh, I had to do something with that. You then pick up that thing, whatever it is, and then you walk back out and then you then can't remember why what it was that you went into the room in the first place. You just 100%. Remember that you definitely haven't fulfilled the purpose you set out.
That's literally my whole day all the time, like permanently. The only consistent in my life is the frigging coffee machine in the morning. Yeah. Like I have every time I go past the coffee machine, I'll get a coffee, basically.
Every single time.
And pretty much, yeah.
It's good coffee. So.
Yeah, it is good.
It's good coffee. I mean,
Casa del Wings, best coffee in Kent. But no, memory is getting atrocious. So yeah, I might put in a claim for rugby injuries and try and sue the WIU maybe for my childhood rugby antics. So yeah, I have been up my arse being a forgetful idiot.
Forgetful curmudgeon. Well, it's only going to get worse. You're middle-aged currently, so
and
breathe in.
Yeah, well, I have to breathe in with this expanding waistband where I'm not fucking walking. But yeah, how about you? What's been in your glass and what's been up your arse? I imagine a hefty amount has been in there.
Well, actually, I mean, I mostly talk about Summerton Festival, I guess.
Yeah. Did you not want to recap on your trip to Pizza Express that you talked about in the last pod?
I could start with that. I mean,
yeah, let's go there.
I was so empty, you could buy, basically I got food poisoning. I mean, I spoke to the council in case it was food poisoning, in case other people mentioned it.
Yeah.
And they said, well, you do know you could have food poisoning for up to 10 days. It could have been caught 10 days before. I'm like, come on.
No.
4 to 5 hours after I've eaten dinner at that place, I was weeing the brown stuff. And when you're sitting on the toilet and it's coming out of both ends, and you're just like, why me? Why me?
Did you have chicken?
No, I had a pizza, dough balls, tap water. Very controversial at the moment. So there's nothing really that should have made me so rough. But anyway, so, I mean, I was so empty, you could have just literally hung me on the back of a door, like on a coat.
Are you sure it wasn't tampered with? You didn't tell the bloke making pizza how to make pizza that you've been eating it for 20 years, did you?
So I was single. Maria was away that evening, so I was looking after Eva, so I thought I'd treat her out to trip. I asked her what she wanted to eat. She said pizza. So there's 3 pizza places you can get pizza. We hadn't been to Pizza Express ever. She hadn't been to Pizza Express, so I thought that'd be exciting for her. I asked on the door, do they have a kids menu? Yeah, we've got a kids menu. I'm like, sold. We're in. She's on the kids menu. She's having a good time. I ordered the spiciest pizza. They've got some sort of new spicy pizza thing. Still not that spicy. You still have to put some chili oil on it. But it was tasty. It was all right, slightly dry, if anything. Had one beer, whatever it was, some sort of lemon Spanish beer or something.
That could have been it.
Could have been. In a bottle. Poured it into a glass, didn't drink it
Maybe
out of the
they
bottle.
used the Spanish water and, you haven't been to Spain for so long, so you haven't built up that intolerance. Remember, don't have the salad? You went to
So, all jokes aside, I've been rough for a whole week now. My stomach is a mess.
Yes.
And so I was, had to be very careful / sensible on Saturday. I've not been able to go for runs on certain days. Just
I didn't even try and encourage you to run this time. I was like, no, you need to rest.
Bad. So what?
Rest up, drink fluids.
So that was the worst thing. Like Monday night last week after Pizza Express was so bad. And
as soon as we finished the pod,
just to be clear, I can't be sure it was Pizza Express. according to the guy at the council, it could have been anything in the last 10 days in the run up to that.
To stop him having to go and do his job. But
he said, he's like, it's the cleanest establishment, one of the cleanest establishments in the area. I'm like, I'm sure it is. I said to him, I'm as surprised as you are. That's what I said to him. Anyway, so I was really struggling, but I had Eva on my own. And so she then wanted to, obviously mummy wasn't there, so she wanted to sleep in bed. So I had to like keep pushing her off me. So my whole night on Monday was just shoveling, moving away our 4.5-year-old lump, right? Get her off me, basically. Because even when it's hot, she just wants to if anyone's in the bed, she's going to try and hug you, right? And you're like, get off. And then every time I had to go to the toilet, which I think was about 30 times during one night.
Oh my God.
I then had to clean everything down because what happens if I went to sleep and then she went out, it had to be clean. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm out of my mind.
You must have been on the brink.
I'm out of my mind. And then the next day, I have never craved Lucozade. I can't remember. It was top 3 worst food poisoning in my life. I've never craved Lucozade like it. We didn't have any Lucozade. We didn't have any Coca-Cola. And I couldn't leave the house in case ahem. So, and I've got Eva. And then I remembered, this is the most positive point of the week, I remembered you can get Ocado Zoom because I live in London.
Yeah, you can get your grocery shopping Zoom straight to the front door.
45 minutes later, I had a whole bag of stuff, including much Lucozade and Coca-Cola, and I was just like, you've never seen me open up a bag so fast. It's just savaging this stuff because I just wanted the sugar, right?
Yeah,
the liquid sugar. I just needed it in me. So yeah, that was absolutely brutal. And that meant I was a little delicate going into sort of the weekend. So I was very sensible at Summerton Whisky Festival.
Good. Did you have fun though?
Yeah, I had a great crack. Got the train down. Took the doggo. Took Leo with me because it's dog friendly. It's a pub in St Albans called the Red Lion. So it was last on 2 years ago. Took Leo with me. I'd like to say he had a good time, but he didn't. On the train on the way, a family, 2 kids in a family, lovely kids, lovely mum. But they harassed him the whole way, and I let them harass him because they were having a great time.
Yeah,
and he kept looking at me like, "You can stop this," and I was like, "Nope."
Enjoy it, motherfucker.
He was annoyed. Then when we got there, we had to walk across St Albans, which is like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So, and he's got a fairly good memory. Then when we got there, I tied him to a table initially, and he was like, "Why are you leaving me?" So then I had to sort of walk him around.
Yeah.
And last time there was a sausage and burger stand. And I'm sure he was annoyed because this time they had Indian food, and he was like, "What is this rubbish?"
That's not what was there last time.
Yeah, I remember.
I've only come here for the sausages.
That little pace I got on as we were getting nearer to it. That's because I remembered last time there was unlimited sausages and burgers, and drunk people giving me food. I don't want your onion bhajis.
Yeah, unlimited poppadoms this year.
Yeah, so I made Dan.
Not the same, Leo.
I made Dan of Summerton Club apologise to Leo, and he said that it was blame the vegans. That's what he said. He said that's what Dan said. Blame the vegans.
Animals blaming vegans.
So Leo wasn't the only dog there. So there was a 4 or 5 dogs. Lovely day out. Lots of people. Yeah. So shout out to Claire Vokins. Shout out to Vinny, No Nonsense Whiskey. To Ben, Scotchographer. Shout out to Bert Smedley, Gary Two Drops, St Albans Whiskey Club, the guys that bottle Wax House. They were like, "Do you know Wax House?" I was like, "I remember Wax House," and they go, "Remember? Yeah. We're not finished."
Oh, awkward.
No, it wasn't awkward. They were really good. I took along with me a hip flask full of the 25-year-old
Boysdale
Bunnahaven, and I was doling it out to people to try blind with mixed results, Mike.
Mixed result, good.
Yeah.
Does that mean Bert thought it was shit?
Bert was not impressed. Some people really liked it.
You can say what you want because he doesn't listen to the pod.
No, I know that, but he didn't like it. He was like, "Well, it's okay. It's nothing special."
Yeah.
But he was doing it blind. The closest guess was probably Ben, Scotchographer, who said he felt it was a sort of 12 to 15-year-old kind of classic profile older whiskey. He said it feels like an older whiskey, but doesn't feel like it's got that much age to it. Most people kind of guessing Speyside. Once I'd obviously said it was Scottish. But yeah, it was good fun. I also gave it some randoms as well, who I don't even know their names, just people who are really friendly, just sharing it about.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to Johnny Whiskey or something. Thanks for the whiskey coin. I think he listens to the pod. Gave me a whiskey coin, said, you guys don't like whiskey coins. I said,
Johnny Whiskey or something. He gave me a coin. I haven't got it here, so I don't know his name.
But it's in the bag. I've got it. It's in the bag. I'm not going to make me get up and walk to go and get it.
I mean, I would.
Right. Anyway, they had great stout. They don't do Guinness at the Red Line. They had 2 types of stout, including an Adnams and something else, which was really interesting. 2 takeaways from the day. 1, what was the best whiskey and the worst whiskey? And the best stand. And then lastly, smashed glasses.
Oh.
So Bert was pointing out that when glasses get smashed, we had a bit of a discussion about it, which then led on to other things. People don't cheer anymore. And he's like, what's gone wrong with this country? He's like, people don't cheer when someone smashes a glass anymore. He's like, that's all I'm after. When someone smashes a glass at a pub, I just want everyone to go, hey.
Yeah, but it's only when the staff do it.
Yeah.
If it's someone drinking, different.
Yeah.
You're like,
behind the
idiot.
bar.
Behind the bar dropping thing, guaranteed laugh.
Guaranteed, yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Yeah, that's an important distinguishment. I'm not sure got hammered out on the day. So anyway, what's been in my glass? Firkin whiskey?
Yep.
Firkin whiskey. One of the best whiskies of the show. Kalila Masala cask strength. Single cask bottling. Banger. Manat Moor Muscat single cask.
Ooh.
Also banger.
Nice.
Whistler Stout. I only tried 2 Whistler whiskies. I said, give me whatever is your easiest sipping drinking one and whatever is one of the most interesting cask finishes. The easy sipping one was double oak or something, was decent. And I tried the stout finish.
It's Canadian.
No,
like
Whistler. Isn't it Irish or something? Oh, gosh, I don't know. I'm going to have a look. Irish. Told you. It's Irish.
Never heard of it.
Well, anyway. So I really like the stout finish one from them. We saw Black Fox. Barb was there. She was all the way over from Canada.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, Barb was all the way over from Canada.
Quality.
Yeah, right. Soren was on the English whiskey stand, and I have to say, Soren...
what was he wearing?
Actually, he wasn't dressed so much, and he didn't have any wedding get-up on. It wasn't like a wedding crasher. If anything, he had more of a sort of...
Stag do.
No. If anything, he had more of kind of a train conductor vibes going on with the sort of English whiskey branded shirt. That's kind of what I sort of got off him. It's a sort of light blue shirt with like embroidered...
Bus driver, coach driver style.
In between train or bus driver, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Soren, I went up and I tried the best English whiskey in the world, the best whiskey in the world again from them. I went up through a crowd and just said, hey, you haven't got that best whiskey in the world again. And he was like, it was under the counter dram. And
no way.
There's like 8 people on the stand and Soren gets out, goes, yeah, but just for you. And everyone else is like, what about? And he's like, no.
Really?
Well, kind of. It wasn't as explicit as that. Some things were unsaid. And so later on, I went back to give him the Bunner to try, and he really made me laugh because, again, the stand was really busy. I mean, it's busy the whole time. It was rammed the whole time. So he never gets a break. It's just entertaining people and pouring whiskey. But when I poured him the Bunner, he stopped, and then with the crowd, he did the guessing. So it was really funny. So everyone was just listening to him have a guess, which was really entertaining. He was like...
Was he even remotely close?
No, it's myself. Which just made it even funnier.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it was good. So it was really good. It was a really good day out. It's lovely at that pub, lovely weather. St Albans is lovely. So I think Dan does them every 2 years. I can highly recommend going along. I've cracked Springbank 10 because it's Campbelltown Festival week.
Ooh.
And I had a Hazelburn 12-year-old Oloroso yesterday.
What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, it was already open. We had a third of the bottle already a while ago, maybe even a half. Anyway, yeah, it's decent. Sort of Oloroso, so you're kind of getting the Oloroso notes, but it's quite fresh and light for an Oloroso, kind of fruity, kind of like strawberries in it as well, which is unusual. It's been a solid week, but I will say this. I managed to go to Summerton and only have 9 units of alcohol, including a pint. Are you not impressed?
No.
Yes.
Why?
Well, because I think that we're having so much fun chatting with everyone.
To be fair, that is quality. If you've got such a good time and just bent people's ear off and not drank, that's actually...
We were just all having a laugh. We're having a laugh, and there's loads of benches there, so we were sat down. So it was busy, so we didn't want to fight at stands. But I tried other whiskies, and I mentioned. But I'm just saying, in total, I think I had about 9 units, because you only get little pours, don't you? Right?
Yeah.
You know, so... And then that 1 pint. So it was a really decent day out. Really happy to take a hit flask. I can totally recommend that. When you go to a festival, I mean, it's a bit naughty because they probably don't want you to take whiskey in, but people love it.
Yeah, exactly.
People love having a little blind guess whilst they're on the day out. So, yeah, it's really, really decent.
Thoroughly recommended then.
I think so. I have to mention as well, last one, one of the Adams whiskies, a 12-year-old, literally smelt of juniper berries.
Oh, was it literally gin?
Gin. I had to pour it out. And now I really like the Adnams from Summerton. And I found the whiskies were hit and miss on the stand. But that one, and again, it was Bert saying this, but it's like I'm getting Juniper in loads of whiskey distilleries now. And he starts mentioning them. I won't mention them because, it's secondhand information. And I was like, what are you talking about, Bert? I was like, are you mad? And then I went and tried that one, and I smelled it, and I was like, it literally stinks of juniper berries. And he looked at me.
Damn it!
He looked at me and he goes, juniper. And I was like, yes, juniper. And he goes, told you. So yeah, it was. I've never had a whiskey that basically just smells of gin. And that was it, big time. And I didn't have time to drink whiskey that on that day that I just
tasted like gin.
Tasted like gin. Yeah. So
no,
out it went, which is a shame for a 12-year-old whiskey. I think unless that's what they were going for.
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows? But anyway, there you go. That was the day out. Summerton Whisky Festival. Done for another 2 years.
Nice.
Shout out to Dan.
Well done, Dan.
Good top effort. Should we do these blind drams then from Paul? Have a little wee guess?
Yeah. So, do you want to recap our guesses?
You recap. I've just spent at least 5 minutes talking about Summerton, so I'd like to have a sip of whiskey.
So we had 6 drams. Paul sent us a list of what the drams could be. We had single cask Arran 24-year-old at 55%, single cask Daluan 13-year-old at 46% in a sherry butt. We had Glenfarclas 12-year-old also in a sherry butt. Glenrothes 16 in a refill sherry butt. Milton Duff, no cask details, and then a Scarabeus Isla single malt. So I think we both decided dram 1 was the Glenfarclas. We disagreed with dram 2. I said it was the Arran, and you said, remind me.
I went with Daluan.
Daluan.
Sorry,
I was dying on the other end.
I was in between having a sip, yeah. Medallion. I went with Daluan. I went with Daluan.
And then I think we both agreed dram 3 was Glenrothes. So that leaves Milton Duff, Scarabeus, and for Duncan Arran, for me, Daluan. So I have pinned my self to the mast as such and said that dram 4 is a Daluan. I'm getting loads of strawberry on the nose, a little bit chalky, loads of cream, and then on the palate a little bit of ginger and baked lemon. So I have said Daluan. What say you?
I feel like dram 4 is the Milton Duff. It's a little oaky on the palate. It's a 28-year-old whiskey. It's very creamy on the nose. I think it's supposed to be about 50%. So we're trying it blind, trying to guess, and we haven't got the other 3 whiskies because
I can say it's bloody nice.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's very creamy. But looking at the general distillery profile for Milton Duff, it's like oranges, obviously sherry if it's a sherry cask, like lots of caramel, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like this one's quite sugary and sweet and sort of almost slightly floral on the nose. So between the caramel and the floralness and the sort of sugariness and the oak on the palate, I'm going to go with the Milton Duff.
Fair dues.
But I will say, I love it.
Yeah.
I love dram 4.
Really good dram.
Love it. And I am getting different stuff in it. And it does kind of give you that kind of like old, polished oak wood cabinets type thing on the nose too.
Yeah.
It feels
I probably would have changed my mind the more I drank it, but I've just committed to what I thought initially.
Mike's doubled down, haven't you? Doubled down on
initial impressions. You got to be quick on these things. Duncan spent an hour before the pod
that's
just
not
researching
5 minutes.
Things. 4 different indie bottlers. He's looked at the notes of the last 17 years
Nonsense.
of releases. Just as
yeah. So dram 5.
Dram 5. Loads of orchard fruits on the nose.
Yep.
Plenty of oak spice, and then into the palate, lychee, pineapple, little bit more oak spice, and just again, generally lovely. So I've said Milton Duff.
Right. I think you're wrong, but I would love to but I'll probably find out the other way around. I've gone with the Arran, the 24-year-old Arran for dram 5. Looking at
which I could believe it's quite saline.
It's quite saline. So just the fact that it's the most saline of the 5 whiskies. So that obviously we drank the other 3 months ago. So
I can't remember.
I'm trying to remember, but maybe I'm just pretending. Anyway, so Arran, you should be getting kind of like apple, pear. It can be like kind of grainy, cereally, kind of fruity, vanilla. And I feel like you said orchard fruits, there's a lot of that in there. Saline, it's a little grainy, as in not like grain, but, just kind of like dirty.
Yeah. Dirty.
You're dirty.
Dirty or dirty dram.
So I've gone with Aaron. I like it. I think I prefer the Milton Duff really, but still very good.
What you think is the Milton Duff?
What I think is no. You've got to I'm using the power of positivity, whatever it is.
Well, it doesn't matter how positive you are.
I'm making it happen with the power of my mind, right? That's what elite athletes do, Mike. They will it to be.
And Dram 6, I don't think either of us were in any doubt, as it is a little peat monster, the Scarabeus Isla single malt. Yeah. No age statement, cask strength, or batch strength, 57%.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say we got at least 1 of 6 right. So, Paul, the final rundown, we both went for number 1.
Just want to say, that Scarabeus, nice. That is, that's touching on the sort of Mactala standard. I don't know what the price is.
That's quite a compliment.
That is a decent dram. Really, really good.
There's often, the Scarabeus there's often some of those in sort of deals and stuff, isn't there? Like at different points in the year. So maybe one to have a little look out for. Should we do the full rundown on all 6 then? So we can then take a note of that and ask Paul. We'll get Paul to tell us what the results are. Dram 1, we went for Glenfarclas. Dram 2, you went for the Arran. Yeah. The 24-year Arran. I went for the Dalhouan. Dram 3, we both think is the Glenrothes. Dram 4, I went for the Milton Duff, and you went for Dalhouan. Dram 5, I went for the Arran, and you went for
Milton Duff.
Dram 6 is Scarabeus.
Yeah.
So we have disagreed on 3 of 6.
Yeah.
Therefore, we will find out who is the best blind dram taster. It's a competition that only one of us can win.
I'm going to go and PayPal Paul fucking 100 quid just to say I was 100% correct.
Paul Cash, what is it? What was the whole MP scandal with the brown envelopes all those years ago? I remember Paul from those days. Taking the brown envelopes at when they're doing the old whiskey blind, and he's just taking the brown envelope under the table and he's just changing the order just so you can get it right.
Blindfolds on, and then there's just that you feel something in your pocket. Yeah,
if you do a blind tasting with Paul and you slide him enough money, he will just say the order is whatever that you said, so that you can impress your friends. There you go. So Paul, we're dying to know. So give us a shout.
I just quickly dived into an Aaron 21,
and
you're right, but I think
if I am right, that means I'm at least, because that means you're wrong on 2 then for definite.
We'll see.
That's how it works. Because it means you would have definitely got 2 wrong.
If you could see how excited he was.
Oh, I'm so excited. Just because of your face.
Yeah. Literally don't give a shit. As with most things pod related.
Like, yeah. It doesn't matter.
Whatever.
Yeah. Main topic of the pod then today.
Glory days.
Yeah, rose-tinted glasses, glory days. Are things better in the past?
The grass is always greener on the other side.
If you put history. 10 years in between where the grass... Yeah, was the grass better in 1983? Probably, actually. I mean, maybe. Who knows?
Don't know. Well, let's get researching.
Get I mean... Yeah, it was probably greener because there was less sort of sunnage and probably more water. There's a lot more water reserves around the UK.
More factories, more foundries, pumping out CO2.
More water to put on your grass, factually, because they used to store the water better, didn't they? Now
less sewage being dumped into the rivers. Beautiful.
So we often hear people say, "Oh, that whiskey distillery was better back in the day." Some of them definitely were, but are they all? Is whiskey not better in 2024 than it's ever been? Question, right? And people apply this to all kinds of stuff. The most obvious one to me is probably football. It's one that always stands out to me. Just because I watch it every week. By the way, on football, it was the end of the Premier League season. So to any listeners,
the Premier League,
Premier League. I'm
doing American.
Premier
League.
The English Premier League. So it was the end of the EPL. And if anyone listening to the pod does fantasy football, I just want to have a little brag and say that I finished 106,000th in the world out of the 10 million plebs that play the game and waste their time.
Hang on, you finished where?
106,000th in the world, which is actually okay out of 10 million. So it's all right. I went on a mad run.
10 million, that just means like mostly the UK, so...
I mean, some of them are probably bot accounts. There's probably only 5 million people that really play the game properly. But anyway,
yeah. So it's not that good then.
I went on a bit of a run. I won all my mini leagues. Got a bit of beer money, Mike. Don't.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Did you have a few like tenner in?
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's about winning your mini leagues. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
In fantasy football.
Yeah, I did that in the Six Nations, and like week 1. I was like 4th. I was fuming.
Right.
Like I put someone in that wasn't even playing because I didn't check the teams.
Yeah.
And then it's like, that was it then. As soon as I was down, the comeback was on and smashed them all.
It's the same with anything. And so you felt good about that because you went on a run and you ended on a positive, right?
Yeah.
So about week 30, so 30 games into the season, I'm down about 900,000th in the world. And then between the 30th game or the 31st game, and the last game of the season, I went on a mad run and made up 800,000 places. So
technically, for that last period, you were even better still.
Yeah, but that's why I enjoyed the end of the season. It could have gone the other way. You know, a lot of people slip down, don't they? So I had fun in the last few weeks anyway. So
decent.
Yeah, it was really, really good. So
would you say fantasy football is better now than when it was in the early 90s?
I'd say, well, look, it's a bit like football. They have actually made it worse because they've introduced more silly rules in between. So in my view, it's better when they kept things simpler.
Yeah.
You didn't have so many gimmicks. Thinking about football itself, I feel like football was definitely better back in the day. And I can say exactly why.
Do you?
Yeah. So they score more goals now. Well, okay, sport in general. So you're a rugby fan, right?
Yep.
So in rugby...
But I'm intrigued about your football. Well, how you think old football is better.
I'll draw a parallel between the two first, and then I'll go off into football. With rugby and football, everyone has to be like an elite athlete now. So in football, if you can run fast and you're pretty strong and you're pretty tough and you do what the coach says, you will make it as a professional footballer. Even if, you have to be fairly technically proficient, you don't have to be genuinely like a worldly talent. And in rugby, I feel like there's all those big lads and stuff, and isn't it a lot of it about size and athleticism now?
Yeah.
Because basically, the athleticism has outdone the skill in the game, is what I'm saying. I don't think in football we'll ever see a Ronaldinho or a Gaza or a George Best again. By the way, they used to kick around basically a leather brick of a ball, thumping it about.
What we now have as medicine balls in the gym is what they were like hoofing 30 yards.
There was no protection for people.
And heading.
Yeah, and heading. No protection for people. You could literally hack people to bits, take lumps out of them. Now, players are protected. The ball's basically like a balloon. I mean, they kick it and it moves about 10 yards. The keeper's got no chance. This season, how many goals?
But the grass is better now, isn't it? Let's go back to the original point. Look at those pitches.
They're playing.
You see the old clips and they're like in a mud bath.
I know.
And it's like,
and you watch like Pele and so the argument against it is to say that because the defenders and everyone on the team is of a higher standard now, it's harder for them to beat the players. But then back in the day, if Pele was running or whatever, you could literally just 2-footed tackle him and try to break his legs, right?
Yeah.
And that, it probably would have been a yellow card. These days, you can't do anything. I, for the life of me, cannot see how football is better in 2024 than it used to be.
Apart from weakness in terms of like diving and everything else, that's my only like issue with the game now.
No one can defend
maybe
these
a
days
bit
as
of
well.
VAR.
Defense is gone. So
I don't know. I still think football is, well, I don't really watch it, but when I watch like championships and stuff, it's absolutely amazing. You've got the spread of the game, the quality now.
You're saying the lower
at that
leagues
elite
are
level. Everything's gone up a notch, and it's like
because they all earn loads of money. People in like Division 2 are like driving Ferraris, right?
I don't know about that.
Well, people in the Championship who sit on the bench are earning like 10 grand a week.
The Championship is still like a really decent standard.
Yeah, but it's not the top, is it? I mean, the money is so great.
You think of like a team getting relegated from the Championship would probably still win the Scottish Premiership.
Take that back, Mike. It's the few people from Scotland that listen will be outraged. Anyway, so I feel like with football was definitely better back in the day. They've made it worse. They've introduced VAR. They've overthought it, etc.
VAR?
Yeah.
Did you just call it VAR?
VAR.
Yeah. Okay. Just checking. VAR, yeah.
No,
I've
VAR.
never heard anyone call it VAR ever.
VAR.
Who the hell called... Yeah, VAR.
I just did now. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, VAR. That is amazing.
Hang on, my wife's just asked if I want avocado on toast.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
After he's finished watching the football review on VAR.
So then another point before we get to whiskey is think about like clothes or music.
Yeah.
Music is so derivative now. Anything that's done today has been done better, but the technology is better now. So it's easier to make music than ever before, right? We mess about on the pod. We've got free access to use things like BandLab and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, recording
AI music.
AI music. So it's so much easier to make music now than it used to be. So like, I think it's a no-brainer. Like technology has got better, so it's easier to make music. But is music better? I'm not sure. It's just kind of derivative. No. Yeah, no.
Music. Yeah, that's the one you can't really argue. I said earlier, I'd like to sort of push for the modern day side on all these topics. Music's one I wouldn't really probably push for. Yeah. I mean, trance is decent. We didn't have trance back in the day. If they'd have had trance before the war, who knows? Might not have happened.
Yeah, but things come and go. Like there's phases and fads in music, right? And from that stuff is kind of learned, and then things come back around. So it's like with clothes, like 90s metal, you know, new metal. That'll come back into trend at some point, right? And it'll be called something else, or they'll whatever. It's like all the people walking around wearing these jeans that don't fit now. That was from the 90s, and they're wearing them again.
That's not back. Yeah. I've only just got into skinny jeans, for fuck's sake, because that moved on already.
Skinny jeans are properly out now. If you're wearing skinny jeans, you're a disgrace, basically. I still do it.
Yeah, I'm still going to do it. I'm not buying new jeans. No.
But that's the point. You know, like, I remember like bell-shaped trousers went from the 70s to the 90s and then back in again about 25, 30 years later. So everything's so derivative. So with clothes, nothing's new. Yeah. With music, it's new, but just kind of feels like repackaged stuff, and all the best stuff, all the creative stuff was done before. Although, controversially, Led Zeppelin ripped off a lot of their riffs from other bands. So even they were copying, right? Yeah. So with whiskey,
one that stands out immediately.
Yeah.
When I sent you some blinds and you chose a 70s famous grouse export,
that was
over
definitely better back in the day.
Glengoyne Teapot, and it's like, because not a huge fan of Macallan, not a huge enemy of Macallan. I'm sort of meh, whatever.
But I mean, does it go without saying that Macallan was better back in the day? 100%.
There's a reason that people are hunting these older bottles. So yeah, Old Grouse was spectacular. Some of the sort of higher ABV ones. So yeah, older whiskey, arguably.
But then
you say that, but was it made better because obviously they had the whole collapse in the 80s is because they were making too much and they were probably just smashing it out.
There just wasn't the demand for it. That was the problem.
Yeah.
So now, today, there is the demand for it, and there's way more choice. I mean, not in Campbelltown, there's way less choice, but everywhere else, there's way more choice, right? Whiskey's been made everywhere, and has been made in higher volume with more bottlings in Scotland, England, Ireland, the US. I mean, the choice in the US is crazy now on bourbon, isn't it? Right?
Mad.
So I think there's one that hasn't changed, apparently, which is Springbank. They're still making whiskey in the same way, with the same kind of volumes that they have done for a long time. So they're one of the arguments just that basically whiskey could be the same, right? Yeah. Whereas you've got, obviously Lomond, Glen Scotia, distilleries like Tamdhu, which basically weren't so good back in the day, but have been reborn and are now making fabulous whiskey.
Yeah, I think it's hard to say there was never geekery within the whiskey world. There obviously was, but single malt availability just wasn't around back in the day. You would never have picked up single malts. You wouldn't have been able to get hold of them because literally stuff was going straight into blends, most of the output from whiskey places.
It's almost like it used to be much harder to get hold of single casks.
Yeah.
Right. So
massively.
Now single casks are just everywhere.
Yeah. So it's kind of putting more pressure on people to do things right now because you're getting judged on everything you're producing. It's not just like, that's a bit, those 50 casks were rubbish, but we'll blend them in with another 300. It'll be fine.
I mean, I kind of look at it and I think that my general view is whiskey probably is better today than it was. But I do think there's certain distilleries that I feel like Lagavulin was better back in the day, having drunk it for years. But I don't know how much of that is because it's just a fondness of my memory. So I had to have a look at why is it that we think that things were better back in the day? And apparently it's because when we remember stuff from the past, we only remember the good things. Like our mind filters out the bad.
Yeah.
So when you were drinking lager or Talisker for years, or like I was drinking lager or Talisker for years, or Abalauer, I was just filtering out the rubbish bottles in my mind, apparently, right? Or the bad experiences or whatever, right? And only thinking about the good experiences. And they think there's a suggestion that that's why we always look back to the past with rose-tinted glasses and think it's better. But I do feel like that side, Lagavulin was better in the past, whether it was the 16-year-old White Horse editions or the Distillers editions. I just feel like maybe the quality of the liquor was a little bit better than it is now.
Yeah, I'd say you get better casks now. You got these sherry bodegas that are making stuff, smashing it into barrels and literally tipping it out. It's just an absolute churn out of wood.
Yeah, but they've got the money now to almost pick the casks that they want. I mean, how much money is knocking around with Diageo that they can go and buy the cask
they can't be bloody putting the same concentration into each cask that they're sending to Scotland. I guarantee there was more thought back in the day over what wood made it.
You're saying that
I would say you've got a lower quality of cask coming from Europe into Scotland.
Maybe it's sometimes. So you're saying also like the cask and maybe the sherry that was stored in it and the time period, etc. is going to make a difference, right? If the sherry's been sat in it for a much longer time. Yeah,
because like we used old sherry casks back in the day that were
actual.
They were relying on the product in there, so you had a good product in there. It was aged well. It was chosen at the right times and everything else, and then it was used in Scotch. Now it's like dump sherry into it,
minimum time, take it out. Yeah,
don't even sell the end product, and you're like, so what? Yeah, if it's done right, brilliant. But I don't agree with this whole just filling up casks to tip it out. Yeah. I don't know. It's hard to say. What quality control are you getting? Like, the SWA is so restrictive on everything you're allowed to do. But just because it says sherry cask, you can use it, despite the fact that some blokes pissed in it in Spain, put a few like herbs and spices into it, and then sent it over, and then immediately tipped it out. And then it's fresh sherry, brilliant.
Sherry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Someone had a glass of sherry, breathed into an empty cask, and then sold it to Scotland, and they paid a fortune for it for the pleasure.
I look at like Tamtu personally, and I think that their output is excellent. So they must be paying top dollar, or the cost. Yeah,
there's still amazing sherry casks out there, and it's just like only certain people can be selecting these casks properly, and you kind of relying a bit on batch from everywhere else.
Well, I feel like that's sometimes where some of the newer distilleries suffer.
Yeah.
So without naming any distilleries, because they tend to do smaller releases. I mean, look, some of the distilleries that do larger releases are like Tora Vague, so they're putting out massive volumes. I think Ardnahoe is quite large volume as well, but most new distilleries are putting out much smaller volumes, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like maybe 1,000 bottles or 2,000 bottles type thing, or whatever it is. And so their cask choice is going to be much more prevalent in the whiskey. And so if they've got some not so good sherry casks, it kind of comes across, right?
Massively.
Yeah, massively, exactly.
I had some other examples of things that were far better now.
Go on.
Amazon Prime.
Technology. Look, listen, technology is a given.
Do you know how angry I get when I order something online from a shop and it's like 3 days delivery? I'm like, what? What is wrong with you? I can order this in 2 hours.
It should be with me same day.
Yeah, it's pathetic, isn't it? It's sad that I'm now at that expecting that a human should be running around a factory and immediately diving in a car.
Or robot.
Yeah.
Well, like the shopping.
And that's the other thing.
Like the shopping I said earlier, when I was on the, I needed the Lucozade and the Coca-Cola, it was with me within 45 minutes.
Mate, did you see the news today about the advancement of AI?
No.
So basically, the bloke that created it in the first place, or one of the brains behind it, basically said,
he says it's too dangerous.
Yeah. He said in 50 years, we will basically be battling AI to stop it taking over because military setups around the world aren't playing by the rules. So whereas well, I'd like to think the UK and a few other people are actually playing by a set of rules.
No one's going to play by the rules.
Some evil dictator that would have been on James Bond film is not playing by the rules.
Then, of course.
And you're saying society's basically going to go into you get a set wage given to you by the government, and basically robots will do everything. I was like, oh, bring that on.
Yeah,
equality.
That's exactly everything that you see in Hollywood happens. Everything. I've already seen films about that. I mean, iRobot was literally that. You have like robot servants. People have just been paid a salary. They're like milling about.
The amount of kids that get left in a house on their own when their parents go to France.
Mike, I'm all for it. I've got bottles to open, and do you know what I do? I'll clean the windows. I won't make the robot clean the windows. I'll clean the windows. I'll load the dishwasher. I'll have a run. I'll have a little sit down, crack a fresh
bit of food,
or something like that. Yeah,
cigar, whiskey.
Lovely.
It'd be like
getting paid to drink.
It's probably like Life on the Dole, but with better quality. But then
you know what happened is your robot will be nagging you. But robot will be going, that whiskey's not good for you, master. Yeah. It's not good. Yeah, you should.
Why is it not good? Go and find one with a decent sherry cask. I-3000.
The sherry cask, the sherry cask on that release is not very good, master.
What's my other thing that's better these days? You don't actually have to go out, as you said. You can get it all brought to your door. Polio, it's gone. Cured that. Decent. Smoking ban. Used to go back. If you left your house back in the day, you'd come out smelling like you've been doing 400 fags a day.
Yeah, but you'd have, if you liked a cigarette, you probably had a great time.
Yeah, true.
Smoking at clubs, smoking at pubs. Oh, it's so sociable. Now you've got to go outside to the with one of the heaters and stand in shame with the other smokers. Yeah. Rubbish.
You don't have maps. You don't have to plan anything anymore. Shove it into your phone and it'll tell you where to go.
Think.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is okay. Cars are worse now. They are.
Why?
Well, cars are faster now and they perform better, but they look rubbish.
Model T versus Mustang. Mustang wins.
Well, I'd rather have an older Mustang than I mean, obviously, the very first edition of anything is going to be rubbish. The first ever whiskey.
I don't know. Flintstone's car looked decent.
Find a whiskey from like 1890 that's been dragged up from the sea or whatever. It's still going to taste rubbish. There's a curve, right? People have to learn how to do something. Like thinking about whiskey, all that knowledge which has been imbued is now passed from generation to generation. So factually, no knowledge is lost in whiskey. Everything's documented. It's in books. It's passed from distiller to distiller, from master blender to master blender.
Yeah.
And it's things like the casks that you mentioned, which is going to affect the quality. Bad casks is going to affect the quality of whiskey. Right? We know that from listening to certain people that water doesn't really matter too much. Right? Yeah. Apparently.
Water in the distillation process.
Okay, but there's arguments about whether water really makes a difference or not. Where you store the cask will make a difference, right? The temperature will make a difference, and the quality of the spirit that goes into it will make a difference, right? So, but there's more learnings. Think about Loch Lomond I'm arguing the new side now. Think about all the stuff that's been learned about. No, I'm going to come back to cars because cars look rubbish these days, right? Basically, art and beauty and like the essence of things, the enjoyment of stuff was better back in the day. These days, everyone's too busy. People aren't enjoying stuff as much. Even tasting a dram. If I go back, I'm okay with my age. I'm going to go back 10 years ago to when I would actually be sitting down and really thinking about a whiskey. Because 20 years ago, I was only thinking about it a little bit. All right.
Yeah.
Maybe 15 years ago, to be fair to me. So I would be just literally nosing, tasting, enjoying the whiskey. No social media.
Yeah.
No posting to get likes, right? I'd just be in a room with a friend drinking whiskey, whether it was at a pub or at home, and we'd be talking about it. And that's it. That was the extent of it, right? And we'd just sit, we'd enjoy the whiskey.
I was out having a good time.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not like I didn't go out, Mike, but everything's so busy now that you've got better technology. You've got more choice than ever. You've got more convenience than ever.
Yeah.
But is it better? Is the experience better? I don't think it necessarily is. I'd like to see more places allowing people to enjoy stuff in a simpler way, like no phones.
Yeah.
And
if you look at like whiskey, if you take it back to whiskey, people want to take it back to traditional methods. That's the aim of a lot of new distilleries.
Direct fire, floor malting.
Do it simply. Do it how it was always done for that.
But they're not all doing that.
Experience. They're not all doing that. No,
most aren't.
No, but you've got ones that are out there going, "Yeah, this is what we want to do."
Well,
and this is
Dunfail are doing that. I think
Bimber with their direct fire in London.
Not Bimber.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Bimber. That's true as well. Yeah. Okay. Bimber too. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And does it get more original? It's in a warehouse essentially. Yeah. That's what it would have looked like back in the day. I know we had like these lovely smoky pagodas and rolling hills, but it would have been done on illicit stills.
What would you
like a warehouse.
What would you rather have? Like a 1960s like Ferrari or a Ferrari from 2022?
22.
Get out.
Any day of the week.
Okay, what would you rather have? A Ferrari Testarossa 1990-ish or 2022?
1990.
Some sort of Spider. Exactly.
Worst car, but look.
Yeah,
nice.
Worst car.
It was on my wall. But that's the only reason, because it was an influential time period to me.
Because the design was better.
That was the dream car.
But the design was better, right?
Yeah, but you look at a kid now who would go, "That's amazing." He'd look at something in the 80s and go, "That's shit."
No, but there's more love, more heart. Everything now is designed by like machines, and I think, is it the same with whiskey? Like which whiskey is? I mean, people are starting to let AI choose whiskey as well, but I think the distilleries where they're still really putting like their passion and they're like trying to keep it creative, keep it fresh. But in truth, whiskey's all been done before.
Yeah.
Almost every cask you can think of, almost every permutation you can think of, it's been done. Every ABV, it's been done. It exists. You can buy it. So
that's due to the control of the SWA.
Yeah, get those cider casks going.
Yeah,
no, but seriously, like it, okay, you talk about a fresh and floral dram or a salty dram or, a medicinal PE dram.
Yeah, they can't come up with new flavors. Like there's only a certain...
my point. It's like music. So is it better now or is it better back in the day? Now it's more expensive. So when we're buying it, we're thinking about the high cost of it, remembering how cheap it used to be. Because it used to be much cheaper to get the same type of whiskey. Not the same, but the same type of whiskey, right?
Yeah, but you used to get 10p Freddos. They're £1 now.
Mike, Bowmore used to be cheap. Yeah.
Cheap, but in comparison to today's money and relative to the current things.
Used to be amazing value, So
yeah, but so did houses. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because assets have gone up. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
So arguing for things were better in the past.
No, I think we are in a better place. Technology can see and do things around whiskey production that you would never in a million years have dreamed of, even 50 years ago. The yeast experiments and the ABVs at which you take things off, knowing exactly how, I need a high collection point on this one, it'll work well with that barrel and it'll do this. And
well, from a consumer's perspective, being able to choose and order whiskey to try at home, sample packs. I mean, you used to just have to get a bottle or buy it at a bar. Sample packs is a relatively new phenomenon, wouldn't you say? Like,
and it might have just been a Solero system in your pub.
But seriously now,
yeah,
you can get anything sent to you, right, from anybody, anywhere. Aside from certain spring banks, you can get everything else, pretty much, can't you?
What, man?
Yeah. Mike's holding up a Springbank 18 tiny sample that he's found. I'm going to split it out. I'm going to say that I think that price is worse now. Technology is better now. The experience is worse now, right? Not the whiskey, the experience. There's a difference. The experience of maybe going to a whiskey bar because everyone's on their phones. I mean, phones have ruined everything, basically.
Yeah.
Unless you listen to this on a phone, in which case, thanks very much. As you walk around on your headphones, yeah.
Yeah, thank you to the overlords at Apple.
Yeah. So I think the experience was better back in the day, but perhaps the whiskey really, the whiskey choice is probably better now, but I sort of agree with you about casks,
But I'd also say I can drink whiskey at home, chat to the person that's made it from the distillery on a computer, and they can talk through their liquid. They can give you that experience that you would never in a million years have got unless you literally trekked all the way there. You had to find all these maps, work out routes, get there to find out that it's closed or something because there's no opening times available on a website.
That's true. That used to happen. You just turn up places and stuff be closed.
Yeah, you'd be like, what?
What to do?
Yeah, no, we put a poster on the wall. Yeah. Oh, yeah, decent. So I had to come here to see the poster.
I've driven 2 hours to get here, yeah. Yeah, but there's a poster up. Yeah.
But there's a lovely antique train station around the corner you can go and visit.
Just go and do something else with your day out. It did used to happen, yeah. Let us know. Do you think whiskey is better now or in the past? Was whiskey better 10, 20, 30 years ago? Or is whiskey better in 2024?
Yeah.
Last point from me, going on a stag soon. So, what should I take with me? There is
nothing. Airport, pick up a...
No, it's not abroad.
It's Tamdu.
Not abroad. It's in the UK. UK. It's in Nottingham. So, I know, right?
That's a fucking letdown.
I will get... Mike.
I got so yes, stag do party. Where are you going?
I'm going to get...
UK. That's rubbish. Nottingham.
I'm actually...
Shit.
There's actually 2 stags. But I'm genuinely worried I'll get shot in Nottingham. So if you live in Nottingham and you listen to the pod, let us know what the current gun crime stats are.
Enjoy Hooters, that's all I'll say. Yeah. So we went on a rugby tour once, actually, I will say. And obviously I am not responsible for this, but somebody spiked one of the boys with about 15 Viagras. And he was dressed in a women's one-piece bathing suit like Pamela Anderson.
That is actually funny.
He weighed about 23 stone into a women's thing and had to go back to the hotel due to the inevitable actions that took place as a result of what went in.
That is savage.
But people in Nottingham loved it. Didn't care in the slightest.
They probably didn't, did they?
Yeah.
Oh, my days. Nottingham's like, I don't know. I'm a bit worried.
Yeah.
But we're all kind of old and sensible now, so I'm not really sure where they've chosen Nottingham. I feel like they're going to want to sit at a cafe and just watch the carnage unfold.
Maybe it'd be like a Robin Hood themed thing and you could just go off into the woods and make bow and arrows and stuff.
On that note, though, what bottle should I take for 11 to 12 people?
How are you going there? Train?
Train. Absolutely train, because then I don't have to worry about, train, obviously. I'm in London. That's one of the perks.
Random SMWS.
Do you think?
Completely batshit mental SMWS. Just to see what people think. Because they'll all be like...
Some of them just won't be able to drink it,
It'll be cash strength. Yeah, but then you get water. Go, right, try that now, and then add a bit of water. And just see. You might pick up 1 or 2 new whiskey people.
What I could
doing that.
What I could do then is take one of the open Scotias I've got that's maybe got almost a whole bottle, like a large shoulder's gone. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, just pretend you've opened it there and then. They'll be like, he opened one. He was so good. Duncan, Whiskey Duncan.
Oh, that's true. There's again, that's like, remember you said to us before about the birthday thing and not being able to give someone an open bottle. It is that. If you take if I take a bottle along and I've had the shoulder off it.
They'll be like, cheap bastard.
And it's still like 50 quid's worth of whiskey in the bottle or 55 quid.
Inevitably, 90 quid's worth.
It's not the same, is it, for them? Yeah, exactly. I'll take a bicentenary Oban with me.
Yeah.
Well,
let's just crack it open. It's better now.
Oh, right, yeah. Of course it is. Yeah.
So I would do something that's got a reasonably high fill, and then just pretend you've opened it there and then, because new people won't understand it. And then
just wave my hands around a bit. I was thinking about
sleight of hand.
I was thinking about probably better to take non-peated, because I just know in all those people there's going to be somebody that's really not into peat. Yeah. So
like I said, we had Paul Hawksby on, and for his boys' stag do, I took the SMWS from Scotia, heavily peated. What was it?
Antidote Stole.
Yes.
Okay.
So I took a bottle of that on the train, and people were like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, it's mental. Yeah.
But then you just saw like,
we're not going up there. They're all, most of them going in cars. It'd just be me on the train going to meet them. So I'll tell you what, I'll take it for myself. I'll get on it.
Then I think just get yourself a hip flask, mate. You've solved it.
I'll just get on it myself.
What bottle am I going to take? Who is it? Just me?
No, I meant to have a pour together, right? or whatever. Oh, dearie me. They'll be in a car. Yeah. All right. I'll have a think. I'll let you know. Yeah. Okay.
Good.
Right, well, that's thanks for me for listening. I think I've successfully concluded that old is better. I'm sure that Mike managed to argue that one. I don't see how Amazon Prime is winning out there.
Just throwing polio back out. Thanks for listening from me. As always, follow us in all the usual places at honestormalt.com, at honestormalt on all the social media. Duncan's on Whiskey Tip and I am at Whiskey Wings. Thank you for listening and we will see you on the next one. Bye, bye, bye. Ta-da.
This is the Blind Jake McScroggin's Blues. The blindest dog on Isla. He's gonna run any direction he wants to.
Just can't see.
He hear the trainer coming.
Just can't see it. Don't cross those tracks, Jake.
Blind Jake McScroggin's. He be top dogging the Isle of Isla. The Isle of Isla. He can't see the wood for the trees, or even where he pees. Oh, Blind Jake.
He can't see.
He's Blind Jake.
But he's top dog.
He chased that ball. Wait, did you throw it? He's chasing that ball. You sure you threw it?
Sounds like you didn't throw
He
it.
can't be sure.
Did you throw it?
Blind Jake McScroggin's.
Oh, yeah.
He be top dogging the Isle of Isla.